Okay everybody, this is MOONEY-DASHCAM. If you enjoy these videos, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe. Alright, let's get into it. Today, we are in the Bronx. We're gonna go over to an area where there was a ridiculous fire. It's called the Happy Land Fire. It was the Happy Land Social Club. I'll tell you more about it on the drive there. We're about, I would say, 10 minutes away right now. So you get to see the Bronx a little bit, and we'll end up at the site of the incident. Alright, so a little bit of backstory. The person who did this, Julio Gonzalez, was a refugee from Cuba. Yeah, so he didn't have the easiest time in life, obviously. He escaped Cuba to come here. And, alright, so a little backstory in the club. In 1988, Happy Land Social Club was closed due to the lack of fire exits, alarms, and sprinklers. So obviously the place wasn't well equipped for any types of fire, and the fire department never checked back up, so they just reopened and continued doing what they do. Now, to give you a little bit of sense of the desperation and kind of distraughtness of Julio Gonzalez, he split up with his girlfriend 6 weeks before the incident. He was unemployed and 2 weeks behind on his rent. So you can see this guy really wasn't in the right state of mind. Not giving him a defense at all. What he did was horrible. Alright, let's get down to the day. So the night of, he had an argument with his ex-girlfriend. He went to the club. His ex-girlfriend works at the coat check. He has an argument with her. He wants her back or whatever. And she says, no, get out of here. I don't want anything to do with you. Gets the bouncers to kick him out. Obviously, you can imagine he was pretty angry at that point. So he leaves, goes to a gas station, gets $1 worth of gas, puts it in a container, comes back to the club, and spreads it at the staircase. The club was like an upstairs club. You walk into the entrance, go right up steps. Puts it at the staircase, which happened to be the only entrance or exit to the club. So he ignites it. I guess he leaves. He might have stayed around for a little while. Now, most of the deaths were from asphyxiation and being trampled, because as you can imagine, that was probably a terrifying experience for anybody inside. People inside were so desperate, which is understandable, that they actually tried to punch a hole in the wall to the neighboring building, which was, I think, a union hall. I don't think it ended up working for them. So 19 bodies were found downstairs. The rest were upstairs. And there were 6 within feet of the exit. So, I mean, this was like a real tragedy. I almost don't even want to be talking about this. That's how crazy and sad this whole situation was. But, hey, it happened, and I'm in the area. So, yeah. Most victims were young Hondurans celebrating Carnival. I don't know exactly what Carnival is, but I'm assuming if you're from Honduras, you would understand. And 150 firemen responded to this fire. It was put out within 5 minutes. So they were really on top of the situation. That just goes to show how insane this fire was, how much they really couldn't leave. There was only one exit and they couldn't go down. Afterwards, the guy who did it went home and went to sleep, and he was arrested the next afternoon. I don't know how you go home and go to sleep after anything like that. Obviously, you're a pretty sick person to do this in the first place. Yeah, so all in all, 87 people were trapped and killed. 6 survivors, badly injured, all of them. The place we're going to, the exact location, is 1959 Southern Boulevard in the Bronx. It was the deadliest fire in New York City since the Triangle shirtwaist factory fire, which happened on the same day in 1911, which is pretty crazy, killing 146 and injuring 78. So this wasn't as bad as that. Doesn't make it any less of a tragedy, obviously. Alright, a little bit left here. We're on East Tremont Avenue right now, crossing Morris Park Avenue. Now we're kind of in like Central Bronx. You wouldn't really call the South Bronx. Right off of the 95 Expressway, which goes all the way into Connecticut. Alright. Okay. Shouldn't have turned there, but no. Yeah, so he ended up being charged with 87 counts of murder and 87 counts of arson, which each of them carry a 25-year to life sentence, and he wasn't given any breaks, obviously. If you add up all those years, I did the math, it's 4,350 years. Obviously, he was just sentenced to life. They don't go through all that, telling you you're going to jail for 4,000 years, but yeah. I mean, this guy was hated. It was all over the news. I don't know if it was a worldwide thing, but it was definitely a New York thing. At least a national thing. Oh yeah, so this actually happened on March 25th, 1990. And like I said, they were closed due to lack of fire exits and all that stuff in 1988. So they must have just reopened and started business up like usual without fixing any of the problems they had. And then shortly after, since the owner was injured, and I think the owners actually lived and the DJ lived, but the people who bought the property demolished it soon after, because I mean, I don't know how you'd sell or really do anything knowing what happened there. Alright, we're gonna go up on these trains. You can see a fruit stand to the right there. Food cart. Some of the best fresh fruit ever. What's crazy is a lot of the people that sell the fruit are very territorial. They will they'll get into knife fights if you try and move into an area they're in. Because they all carry big machetes because they're cutting open coconuts and stuff like that. And it's their business, it's their livelihood. They get pretty fired up if someone tries to mess with that. Right, Honda, come on, let me in. Thank you. I know everyone's been complaining about my exhaust. I don't know what to tell you. I actually kind of like it at this point. I know when I'm hitting the gas. About 2 blocks away. That was a Roush F-150. Pretty cool truck with a matte green wrap on it. This fire department's right here. Oh, we made the light, everyone. Yeah, this fire department's right here, so you can tell how quickly they probably responded to it. I mean, we're about a block and a half away. Can you believe this guy, just over his ex-girlfriend, ended up killing 87 people? wonder if that's coming from a car or this electronics store. A lot of the times they'll set up a speaker outside so you could attract some attention to the store. Okay, this building right here, this Kennedy Chicken building, that's it. I mean, it's not it exactly, but because it was demolished, this whole row right here, can't even imagine what it looked like. I saw some pictures of that night. Jesus, it looked terrible. Alright, a little bit of a somber video here, but hey, it's history. It's interesting nonetheless. Alright, if you did enjoy this video, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe, and that's about it. Thank you.